Black Panther should only be written by white men going forward, and I don't care what anyone says. At least for like 10 years. I'll say after about 10 years, then we could get black creators back on the character. It is so insane to think about how just 10 years ago, nobody knew who this character was. Nobody cared about him outside of the comics. And yet now he is literally like a cultural phenomenon. I've made videos about it. You guys who are real fans know his comics have been horrible like for the past 10 years. I'll say since like the era of Christopher Priest or Reginald Hudlin, that was when his comics were, you know, consistently good. But that was 20 years ago. Like, we need another good Black Panther run. And the reason why is because Black Panther has pretty much like kind of become the Black Batman. And I don't mean that literally like within the story. I mean that like kind of figuratively. When you look at a character like Batman, every white dude wants to get their hands on Batman. It's every white male writer's dream to work on Batman. That's what they want to do. Because Batman is such a cultural phenomenon, they want to get their hands on that. And what happens is when you have a character like that that's so popular that everyone wants to write, people want to leave their mark on their character. They want to leave like a legacy on the character. They want to be like, you know, the Grant Morrison, the Denny O'Neil. They want to be iconic on the character. And so what that leads to is often a lot of deconstruction. They want to give their take on a character. They want to deconstruct. They want to be Alan Moore, Frank Miller. They want to deconstruct him. Sometimes it's good, sometimes bad. And that's how you get people like Tom King on the character. They just want to do all of this extra stuff. Oftentimes, these people don't want to play with the toys. The best writers often who have written the best comic book runs for any character, they just wanted to play with the toys. They didn't go in trying to like give this deep story, this deconstruction. They're just like, yo, I love Batman. I love all these characters. Let's play with these toys. Let's add some new toys. Let's just play with it. These writers don't want to do that. They wanted to give a deconstruction. And we're seeing that same thing with Black Panther, where every single black writer, just like how every white dude wants to write Batman, every black man wants to write Black Panther. And none of them are trying to play with the toys. I don't even think any of them are really fans of the character. I think they watched the movie. They have a very surface level understanding, but they don't want to play with the toys. They don't want to make this like amazing story. They literally want to just go in, give a big deconstruction, give their take on the character. And especially since we're in the age of the MCU and how MCU literally put Black Panther on the map in the first place, they're hoping that their story probably gets adapted into a movie. Like, guys, I'm not kidding. In the last 10 years, the only universally loved, like, great Black Panther stories we have gotten have all been written by white men. And the stories I'm talking about is New Avengers by Jonathan Hickman, which you could also add Secret Wars because T'Challa played a big role in that. Also, Captain America Civil War, which was, you know, done by the Russo bros. These two stories actually honored the character of T'Challa. They weren't trying to just deconstruct him and just give their take on the character. In the Civil War movie, Black Panther is calculated, he's menacing, he's a lot more intelligent, and he's actually a lot more true to the comics. But then when you see him in his own movie, you know, made by Ryan Coogler, which no shade to Ryan Coogler, and I do like the Black Panther movie, but T'Challa is vastly different. You know, he's super duper nicer. It's not really all the way in line with the comics. His intelligence is overshadowed in this movie because you have Shuri, and pretty much she's the ultimate intelligent one, and T'Challa just, you know, listens to her. We don't get to see the menacing prowl of the Black Panther. And I'm not saying that he has to be like that at all times, but come on. And then you have Black Panther 2, where they kill off T'Challa, obviously due to the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman. May he rest in peace. But I still don't think that Chadwick Boseman would have wanted Black Panther to die just because he passed away. I'm not saying that T'Challa has to be on top of everything and just be this invincible deity. That's not what I want. I hate that. However, I still want him to be competent. You know, he was intelligent, he was menacing. They kept him true to the roots of the character. But then you have people like John Ridley, where they just write T'Challa to be this weak, pathetic, like, man with no willpower who just gets destroyed by everybody, dumped by his girl, emasculated. It sucks. And if it's not any of those that I just mentioned, it's just, you just get boring, uninspired work like what you get from Eve Ewing or what you get from Brian Hill. Like, just boring, uninspired runs that you won't think about twice. Which leads me to the point in the title of this video. Black Panther should be written by a white man. Like, I've noticed in the comics, they do a lot of typecasting. They don't get writers who are just talented, who are just great, who they know could get the job done. They get writers like for your race, sexuality. The fact that black writers only are equipped to write black characters. They don't let, you know, like Christopher Priest. Christopher Priest is an amazing writer. I'm actually going to meet him next month at a convention in New Orleans. Hopefully he still comes. But Christopher Priest, they refuse to let him write white characters. Like, they'll do it sometimes, but like, he wants to write Daredevil, he wants to write Batman, he wants to write, you know, those characters. They don't want to give it to him. They just keep giving them black. And it's stupid. And we're seeing the same thing with Black Panther, where Black Panther is only being written by black people. That's it. And I know for a fact there's some white dude who, there has to be at least one good writer, one good white writer in the comics right now who thinks Black Panther is interesting, who would like to write for Black Panther, but I'm guessing he's probably scared of being called racist, or like he feels it's not his place to write, you know, such a iconic book in the black community. But absolutely not. Black Panther needs to be written by a white man, because a white dude who wants to write Black Panther, he's not gonna come in trying to, yeah, I have a big message I want to tell the world. Here's my commentary. Here's my take on Black Panther. Here's my here's what I have to say. No, he's just gonna be like, yo, I love this lore. I find this fascinating. I love these characters. Let's add to that. Let's build on that. Let's make a great story. Which is why my personal top pick to write Black Panther would be Chip Zdarsky. He's doing Captain America right now. I wish he would have took Black Panther. I don't know if he was offered, but I think it'll be great. But even if it's not him, somebody like Jonathan Hickman, he would be great. Somebody like Scott Snyder, he would be great. The Ultimate Black Panther is just not a good comic. It's uninspired, it's dull, it's boring, it's stupid. No offense, but that's just my opinion. Stefano Caselli carries it on the art. I want to see a main continuity Black Panther run written by a white guy who's just gonna give us a good story. That's it.